Good day, everyone. We are Group 3, and we will be discussing about the agrichemical industry. We will be tackling some of the most common products being produced, the process of how these products are made, as well as some of the big companies involved in the industry. Before we talk about the agrichemical industry, let us first discuss the definition and a brief history about the use of agrichemicals. Agrochemicals or agrochemicals are substances used to protect plants or crops from pests and insects, therefore enhancing crop yields. It is considered an important component of the agriculture ecosystem because it does not only provide protection to crops, but it also enhances the nutritive value of the soil. Farmers use these agrochemicals to raise crop production in order to meet the increasing demand for food globally. The most common agrochemicals are fertilizers and pesticides, but we will be focusing more on pesticides, which can be further classified into insecticides, fungicides, and herbicides. Moving on to the background and history, the use of pesticides began about 4,500 years ago when Sumerians found that sulfur compounds can be used to control the insects and mites that damage their crops and leave their population with the possibility of famine. In 1883, the Dr. Pierre Miller developed a copper-based fungicide called Bordeaux mixture to fight the great French wine blight. The Bordeaux mixture is a mixture of copper sulfate and calcium hydroxide designed to combat fungal and mildew infections in vineyards. From 1940 to 1960, the agrochemical industry went through its golden phase with intense development of active ingredients aimed at increasing productivity and improving crop management via insect, fungi, and weed control. At the end of World War II, the United States directed much of the chemical production technology developed during the two world wars for use in agriculture, thus creating a technological model of agriculture that encompassed the use of agrochemicals, improved seeds, and agricultural mechanization. This technological model spread in the 1950s to the 1960s in different developing countries, including Brazil, India, and Mexico, and was called the Green Revolution. These are just some of the events in history that built the agrochemical industry. Within a short period of time, agrochemicals became widely used. However, their efficiency was questioned since production gains decreased and the harmful effects on the environment became evident. Pests adapted to the chemicals and therefore companies kept producing them, causing harm to the environment. With this, a new era of research has begun in the agrochemical products. Products with elevated efficiency and minimal environmental harm are being developed to overcome the main problems caused by previous agricultural technologies.
Agrochemical companies. For over 5 years, the three biggest producers of the agrochemical market have remained unchanged. Syngenta, Bayer, and BASF are all multinational companies that are the best at exporting plant protection products across the world. Syngenta is a leading global provider of the agricultural science and technology. Their headquarters are in Switzerland and they have more than 26,000 employees in more than 100 countries, including the Philippines, that are working to transform how crops are grown and protected. Bayer is a German multinational pharmaceutical and life science company and one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world. They drive research in biology, biotechnology, and crop protection to improve productivity as well as developing seeds and traits that provide farmers with new solutions and more choices for consumers. BASF is a German multinational company and the largest chemical producer in the world. They have a broad portfolio of fungicides, insecticides, herbicides, seed treatments, and pest control products. In addition, they also provide the biological crop protection products and solutions for improving plant health as well as nutrient management in the soil. Although the majority of the agrochemical products in the country are imported, there are still local agrochemical companies here in the Philippines, such as ACL Industrial Sales Corporation, Monsanto Philippines Incorporated, Universal Harvester Incorporated, Soiltech Agricultural Products Corporation, AgriSoil Philippines, Arista Life Philippines Incorporated, AVC Chemical Corporation, and Biostad Philippines Incorporated.
Good morning or good afternoon to anyone watching this. I am Hannah, and today I will be discussing the products commonly used in agrochemicals. So first is fumigants. So fumigants is commonly known as pesticides which kills off insects or other rodents. The reason why this is one of the most popular products is how easy it is to use. So for example, the user does not require to injure or tame the animal beforehand. So as you can see here, on the left side, this is the actual product itself, and then on the right side is a example of how it is used. This is for soil fumigant, which is commonly used in farming. For the next product, which is alkaline cleaning agents, or more commonly known as the ones that you use in order to clean bathrooms, etc. So these agents can be used to clean the tiles of one's bathrooms other or even the drain, as can see here by the product on the right. So for the next product, which is vaccine for livestock, this is used in order for the livestock that is seen in big farms, in order they don't have any possible sickness in the future. Like for example, leptospirosis vaccines are used for cattle. They usually come in 5-in-1 vaccines. As you can see here, this is an example of how they do it to this in this case, which is a cow. And the on the next picture you can see on the where should one inject the vaccine, because there would be, as you can see here, problems if they would ever pierce it on the right on the pierce it on the wrong side of the animal. Next is pesticides, which are poisonous gas that are soluble in water that kills common fungi or bacteria. Pesticides are commonly used formaldehyde, which is a chemical known to use for disinfectants as well. So as you can see here, these are used in bushes in order for them to maintain its number of quantity, as well as here a in a farm. Next is paraquat or diquat. These are more commonly known as plant killers or herbicides. These which are used in order to control plants such as weed, which is why they have the same function as pesticides. However, this in this case, paraquat or diquat is used in order to maintain grass growing. So this is the actual product itself on the left, and this is what this is the application on how they use it. However, there have been studies shown that the government already wants to ban due to its harmful effects on the environment. Although agrochemicals are very much prominent in the agriculture industry, there is a reason why professionals are the only ones handling these types of products, because they have different effects whether they are in contact with human skin or to its environment, which is why it is important that one must know how to transport and maintaining such chemicals in order for the user to not get hurt, as well as to how they would dispose it in the end. So here are the following effects that can be seen: headache or nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, or chemical burns and rashes. There are also long-term effects included. So there are birth defects, disorders to the nervous system, language impairment, and depression are one of the examples, as well as increased risk of cancer, and at extreme cases, even death. So this is the reason as to why it is important to know how to handle such products and as well as maintaining them.
So, one of the major products of the industry is bleach as an alkaline cleaning agent. So, sodium hypochlorite solutions are widely used in bleaching operations, utilized as disinfectants both in the home and in the industry. So, one of the raw materials utilized in the manufacture of bleach is chlorine. Chlorine is the best overall disinfectant, germicide, and anti-slime agent. This is because chlorine has the ability to oxidize and eliminate organic compounds and convert some soluble metallic impurities into insoluble solids that can be removed from fluid by filtration. Other raw materials used are also water to form hypochlorous acid by reacting with chlorine. The most common method on forming bleach or sodium hypochlorite is by allowing chlorine to react with sodium hydroxide. The byproducts of such processes are sodium chloride or salt and water. The main product, sodium hypochlorite, is stable above a pH of 12. And the figure shown on the slide is a simple manufacturing process flow diagram of sodium hypochlorite. The process can either be in batch or continuous with the use of typically liquid chlorine. The manufacturing process can be divided into unit processes such as caustic dilution, chlorination, filtration, and distribution. So in caustic dilution, it involves the dilution of sodium hydroxide in water, which generates heat, and heat is also generated during chlorination, but using liquid chlorine generates less heat. That's why it's ideal and avoids the need for expensive chlorine vaporizer. After chlorination, sodium hypochlorite will be produced. So in the next slide, another major product in the industry are pesticides, and in particular, parathion. Organophosphate pesticides are known as hydrocarbon compounds that have one or more phosphorus atoms. And the raw materials in which organophosphate pesticides can be derived are phosphorus pentasulfide, thiophosphoryl chloride, and phosphorus trichloride. Organophosphates are used as either insecticides or herbicides. Organophosphates can also be formed from the esterification of phosphoric acid and alcohol. Phenylparathion was only the second phenyl organophosphate introduced into agriculture and the first to be used commercially. Parathion is synthesized from diethyl dithiophosphoриc acid during chlorination, which generates thiophosphoryl chloride. Then, the chloride is treated with sodium salt of 4-nitrophenol or sodium 4-nitrophenolate to produce parathion. So the third major compound is paraquat. And paraquat is widely used as a herbicide. It is a non-selective contact herbicide and can contain impurities that can be more toxic than the parent compound. It can be detected because of its ability to form radicals and is slightly soluble in alcohol while insoluble in organic solvents. It is also non-explosive and unflammable. So the process involved is it is produced by coupling pyridine in the presence of sodium in anhydrous ammonia and quaternizing the 4-4 bipyridyl with methyl chloride. When bipyridyl is refluxed with methyl iodide, the iodide salt will be obtained. The yields vary from 20% to 96% of pure products. This product is paraquat-like chloride. The first commercial paraquat formulation that is approved for agricultural use was called gramazone, and the possible byproducts during manufacture are bipyridyl, terpyridyl, and insoluble tar.
Agrochemicals can be broadly categorized into two: fertilizers and pesticides. For pesticides, it is further classified into insecticides, fungicides, antimicrobial, and herbicides. Key players for the production of agrochemicals for the global agrochemical market are large companies including Syngenta, Bayer, and Corvette Incorporated. For the production of pesticides, which is one of the prominent category of agrochemical products, it is observed from the past decade that the production rate increases at an exponential rate where imports are observed to be in parallel. By the late 1900s, the production rate of pesticides was recorded to be greater than 3 million tons, which is equivalent to more than 3 billion kilograms of pesticides. This rate is driven by many key players such as increasing global population, rising food security, shrinkable arable land, growing agriculture industry, and etc. In 1900s to 2000, the population exploded from 1.5 billion to 6.1 billion, which corresponds to an increase in the population 3 times greater than during the entire history. In the case of the Philippines, there is no current data for the amount of agrochemicals that the country produces. However, for agrochemicals exported to the country, half of the imported agrochemicals are supplied by China with an export volume of 33%, followed by Indonesia and South Korea. Some of the top products imported to the Philippines are N-spray N, which are used for banana plantations for controlling sigatoka, and Furident Reject carbamate pesticide, which are used for a wide variety of field crops such as potatoes, corn, and soybeans. From 1972 to 1978, the import of pesticide in the Philippines grew by 500%, while in 1977 to 1987, the use of pesticides grew by 325%. The reason behind is that pesticides are intensively used in vegetables and are in the rice. For example, in Benguet, also known as the salad bowl of the country, which is one of the largest vegetable producing areas in the Philippines, tamaron is mostly used pesticide followed by pyrethroid and carbamates. In the figure at the left, this shows the regional shares in the crop protection market between regions in 1998 and 2018. In 1998, North America accounted for 26.2% in the crop protection market, but by 2018, it's reduced to 16.7%. This is similar to the share of Europe, which declined from 25.9% to 23.4%. But for Asia, its global share increased by 2.7%, driven by large markets such as Japan and South Korea. The same with a significant increase in the share in Central and South America, driven by significant growth in Latin America and Argentina. In the global agrochemical market, agricultural chemicals market value constantly increases from 2018. It is forecasted up to 2025 that its market value will stagnantly increase, which is expected to propel up to more than $300 billion in a progressive rate with the fast-growing market of herbicides in the global agrochemical market.
Hello everyone, I'm Daniela Pentecostes, and I'm going to discuss about the top countries in agrochemical production. According to credit analysis and research LTD and world's top exports, approximately 25% of the global crop output is lost due to attacks by pests, weeds, and diseases, and thus agrochemicals have an increasing role to play in enhancing crop productivity. China, United States, and Germany are the top three producers and/or exporters of agrochemicals in the world. This table shows the top 10 countries that exported the highest dollar value worth of agrochemicals or crop protection products during 2019. As we can see, China has the highest dollar value worth of agrochemicals with 4.9 billion US dollars and 13.4% of total exported agrochemicals, while United States has 4.1 billion US dollars worth and 11.4% of total exported crop protection products. And Germany has 4.03 billion US dollars worth and 11.1% of total exported agrochemicals or crop protection products and so on. Even with the recent crackdown or restraint on manufacturers, China continues to be the world's major or largest producer and exporter of agrochemical raw materials, supplying 90% of the world's technical raw material requirements. That's the end of our group's video report for agrochemicals. Thank you for listening, and we hope that you have learned something. Please post on discussion board if you have any questions. Keep safe, everyone.